Welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find the next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie. And this week we're doing Pulitzer Prize winners. Since it's award season and they've been announcing the Academy Award nominees, we thought it would be fun to pick books that were Pulitzer Prize winners. So Jill, what's your first pick?
My first pick is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This is a post-apocalyptic novel about a father and a son that are walking along the lone in America, and the streets are like just burned, and they're looking for food. There's nothing that moves but ash in the wind. It's cold enough to crack stones, and when the snow falls, it's gray. The sky is dark. Their destination is the coast, although they don't know what, if anything, awaits them there. They have nothing, just a pistol to defend themselves against the lawless bands that stalk the road, and clothes they are wearing, a cart of scavenged food, and each other. This won the Pulitzer for Fiction in 2007, it's really good. It's a very atmospheric novel, and if you like post-apocalyptic stuff, this is definitely one to read.
My first pick is Elizabeth Strout's Olive Kittredge. At times stern, at other times patient, at times perceptive, at other times in sad denial. Olive Kittredge, a retired schoolteacher, deplores the changes in her little town of Crosby, Maine, and in the world at large, but she doesn't always recognize the changes in those around her. A lounge musician haunted by a past romance, a former student who has lost the will to live. Olive's own adult child who feels tyrannized by her irrational sensitivities, and her husband Henry, who finds his loyalty to his marriage both a blessing and a curse. As the townspeople grapple with their problems, mild and dire, Olive is brought to a deeper understanding of herself and her life, sometimes painfully, but always with ruthless honesty. There is a follow-up book to Olive Kittredge called Olive Again, and that was made into a HBO miniseries starring Frances McDormand.
This is my only nonfiction on my list this week. It's Chasing Me to My Grave, an artist's memoir of the Jim Crow South with a foreword by Brian Stevenson. This is by Winfred Rembrandt. Winfred Rembrandt grew up as a field hand in a Georgia plantation. He embraced the civil rights movement, endured political violence, survived a lynching, and spent 7 years in prison on a chain gang. Years later, seeking a fresh start at age 52, he discovered his gift and vision as an artist, and using leather tooling skills he learned in prison, started etching and painting scenes from his youth. Rembrandt's work has been exhibited at museums and galleries across the country, profiled in the New York Times and more, and honored by Brian Stevenson's Equal Justice Initiative. In Chasing Me to My Grave, he relates his life in prose and paintings, vivid, confrontational, revelatory, complex scenes from the cotton fields and the chain gangs of the segregated South to the churches and nightclubs of the urban North. This is also a story of finding epic love, and with it courage, and revisit the past that begs to remain buried, as told to Tufts philosopher Aaron Kelly. This won a Pulitzer Prize for biography in 2022, so just last year. So, yeah.
Does it have pictures of his artwork in the book?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, very cool.
It's illustrated. Yes.
Very cool. My second pick is fiction, and it is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, published back in 2013. Age 13, Theo Decker, son of a devoted mother and a reckless, largely absent father, survives an accident that otherwise tears his life apart. Alone and rudderless in New York, he is taken in by the family of a wealthy friend. He's tormented by an unbearable longing for his mother, and down the years clings to the thing that most reminds him of her, a small, strangely captivated painting that ultimately draws him into the criminal underworld. As he grows up, Theo learns to glide between the drawing rooms of the rich and the dusty antique store where he works. He is alienated and in love, and his talisman, the painting, places him at the center of a narrowing, even more dangerous circle. The Goldfinch is a haunted odyssey through present-day America and a drama of enthralling power, combining unforgettably vivid characters and thrilling suspense. It's a beautiful, addictive triumph, a sweeping story of loss and obsession, of survival and self-invention, and of the deepest mysteries of love, identity, and fate. I haven't read the book. I did see the movie. Like the movie a lot. So someday maybe I'll tackle the book. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt.
It's not as thick as I hear. My next pick is The Orphan Master's Son by Adam Johnson. This follows a young man's journey through the icy waters, dark tunnels, and eerie spy chambers of the world's most mysterious dictatorship, North Korea. Pak Jun-do is a haunted son of a lost mother, a singer stolen to Pyongyang, and an influential father who runs Long Tomorrows, a work camp for orphan. There the boy is given his first taste of power, picking which orphans eat first and which will be lent out for manual labor. Recognized for his loyalty and keen instincts, Won-do comes to the attention of the superiors in the state, rises in the ranks, and starts on a road from which there will be no return. Considering himself a humble citizen of the greatest nation in the world, Won-do becomes professional kidnapper who must navigate the shifting rules, arbitrary violence, and baffling demands of his Korean overlords in order to stay alive. Driven to the absolute limit of what any human being could endure, he boldly takes on the treacherous role of rival to Kim Jong-do in an attempt to save a woman he loves, Sun Moon, a legendary actress so pure she didn't know what starving people look like. Part breathless thriller, part story of innocence lost, part story of romantic love. The Orphan Master's Son is also a riveting portrait of a world heretofore hidden from view, North Korea, rife with hunger, corruption, and casual cruelty. So, yeah, into North Korea with this one, Orphan Master's Son. This won the Pulitzer Prize in 2013.
My next pick is my nonfiction pick for Pulitzer Prize winners, and this is Carry Me Home, Birmingham, Alabama, The Climactic Battle of the Civil Rights Revolution by Diane McWhorter. This was published back in 2001. The year of Birmingham, 1963, was a major turning point in America's long civil rights struggle. That spring, children demonstrators faced down police dogs and fire hoses in huge nonviolent marches for desegregation. A few months later, Ku Klux Klansmen retaliated by bombing the 16th Street Baptist Church and killing 4 young black girls. Carry Me Home is the first major movement history to uncover the segregationist resistance. The author charts the careers of the bombers back to the New Deal, when Klansmen were agents of the local iron and coal industries fighting organized labor. She reveals the strained and veiled collusion between Birmingham's wealthy establishment and its designated subordinates, politicians, the police, and the Klan. It's also the story of the author's family, which was on the wrong side of the Civil Rights Revolution. Her quest to find out whether her eccentric father, the prodigal son of the white elite, was a member of the Klan mirrors the book's central revelation of collaboration between the city's big mules, who kept their hands clean, and the scruffy vigilantes, who actually did the dirty work. She weaves personal memories into an extraordinary narrative of the city, the personalities, and the events that brought about America's second emancipation. So, sounded like an interesting book to me. Carry Me Home.
I seem to pick a lot of books this week that have to do with, like, journeys. And this one is In America in a Certain Time of History. The Underground Railroad by Colton Whitehead. This won the Pulitzer for Fiction in 2017. Cora is a slave on a cotton plantation in Georgia. Life is hell for all the slaves, but especially bad for Cora, an outcast even among her fellow Africans. She's coming into womanhood, where even greater pain awaits. When Caesar, a recent arrival from Virginia, tells her about the Underground Railroad, they decide to take a terrifying risk and escape. Matters do not go as planned. Cora kills a young white boy who tries to capture her. Though they manage to find the station and head north, they are being hunted. In Whitehead's ingenious conception, the Underground Railroad is no mere metaphor. Engineers and conductors operate a secret network of tracks and tunnels beneath the southern soil. Cora and Caesar's first stop is South Carolina, in a city that initially seems like a haven, but the city's placid surface masks an insidious scheme designed for its black denizens. And even worse, Ridgway, the relentless slave catcher, is close on their heels. Forced to flee again, Cora embarks on a harrowing flight, state by state, seeking true freedom. Like the protagonist of Gulliver's Travels, Cora encounters different worlds at each stage of her journey. Hers is an odyssey through time as well as space, as Whitehead brilliantly recreates the unique terrors for black people in the pre-Civil War era. The Underground Railroad is at once a kinetic adventure, a tale of one woman's ferocious will to escape the horrors of bondage and shattering, powerful meditation on the history we all share. So, yeah, the Underground Railroad. I read this and I really enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down. It was great.
Yeah. My fourth pick is The Overstory by Richard Powers. This was published in 2018. Ann Patchett, the author of Bel Canto, Commonwealth, said this is the best novel ever written about trees, and really just one of the best novels, period. So it's a sweeping, impassioned work of activism and resistance that is also a stunning evocation of the natural world. From the roots to the crown and back to the seeds, the author's 12th novel unfolds in concentric rings of interlocking fables that range from antebellum New York to the late 20th century timber wars of the Pacific Northwest and beyond. There's a world alongside ours, vast, slow, interconnected, resourceful, magnificently inventive, and almost invisible to us. This is the story of a handful of people who learn how to see that world and who are drawn up into its unfolding catastrophes. So, sounded like an interesting Pulitzer Prize winner, The Overstory by Richard Powers.
I should read that one. I didn't realize it was about trees. And last one is The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. And this is based on her grandfather who worked as a night watchman. Thomas Wazowski is a night watchman at the Jewel Bearing Plant, the first factory located near the Turtle Mountain Reservation in rural North Dakota. He is also a Chippewa council member who is trying to understand the consequences of the new Emancipation Bill on its way to the floor of the United States Congress. It is 1953, and he and the other council members know the bill isn't about freedom. Congress is fed up with Indians. The bill is termination that threatens the rights of Native Americans to their land and their very identity. How can the government abandon treaties made in good faith with Native Americans for as long as the grasses shall grow? Since graduating high school, Pixie Parentu has insisted that everyone call her Patrice. Unlike most of the girls on the reservation, Patrice, the class valedictorian, has no desire to wear herself down with husband and kids. She makes jewel bearings at the plant, a job that barely pays her enough to support her mother and brother. Patrice's shameful alcoholic father returns home sporadically to terrorize his wife and children and bully them for money. But Patrice needs every penny to follow her beloved older sister Vera, who moved to the big city of Minneapolis. Vera may have disappeared. She hasn't been in touch in months and is rumored to have had a baby. Determined to find Vera and her child, Patrice makes a fateful trip to Minnesota that introduces her to unexpected forms of exploitation and violence and endangers her life. Thomas and Patrice live in an impoverished reservation community along with young Chippewa boxer Wood Mountain and his mother Juggy Blue, her niece and Patrice's best friend Valentine, and Stack Barnes, a white high school math teacher and boxing coach who is hopelessly in love with Patrice. So, yeah, Native American stories. It's in this one, The Night Watchman. This one in 2021, so...
My last pick is The Sympathizer by Nguyen, which was published in 2015 and won the Pulitzer in 2016. It was a debut novel from a very powerful voice. The narrator, a communist double agent, is a man of two minds, half French, half Vietnamese army captain, who arranges to come to America after the fall of Saigon, and while building a new life with other Vietnamese refugees in LA, is secretly reporting back to his communist superiors in Vietnam. It's April 1975, and Saigon is in chaos. At his villa, a general of the South Vietnamese Army is drinking whiskey and, with the help of his trusted captain, drawing up a list of those who will be given passage aboard the last flights out of the country. The general and his compatriots start a new life in LA, unaware that one among their number, the captain, is secretly observing and reporting on the group to a higher up in the Viet Cong. The Sympathizer is the story of this captain, a man brought up by an absent French father and a poor Vietnamese mother, a man who went to university in America but returned to Vietnam to fight for the communist cause. It's a gripping spy novel, an astute exploration of extreme politics, and a moving love story. It's been described as having the pace and suspense of a thriller and prose that has been compared to Graham Greene and Saul Bellow. So,
Wow.
The Sympathizer, winner of the Pulitzer in 2016.
So we hope that helped you find something new to read if you're looking for some prize-winning novels.
I always start the year with a classic. I'm currently reading a Pulitzer winner. I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird, so that should be familiar to a lot of you. That won the Pulitzer back in 1961. So, and it's coming to the PACs. We have tickets, so I decided to go back to the classic and read that. Thank you for watching us. Like, comment, share. We like to hear from you. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on the Kimberly Public Library's YouTube channel. And until next time, we thank you for watching. Bye.